Hey, what up everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you. A little bit of a wrestling discussion here on a good little Wednesday night before my drive home. Well, weirdest story that I saw today involved Rey Mysterio. Basically, I think everybody saw the story on Monday, hoping that we were going to see a Rey Mysterio return with him being in Buffalo for Monday Night Raw to have a discussion with Vince McMahon. The story was about Rey Mysterio going over and wrestling on the European tour. It seems that the ticket sales are down from years in the past, and this is one of the biggest money makers there is for the WWE, going over there and hitting this big week-long tour, hitting all these big dates. Rey Mysterio being there would probably be a good little plus. You can see that there's a lot of people injured right now. Basically, Randy Orton isn't going to be making the trip over because of his movie. Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan are not going to be out there. As far as I know, they're not bringing Hulk Hogan to be a part of the stage show, trying to bring people in. They said that was a big plus when they announced Hulk Hogan to go over for the Japan tour. The shows sort of went from sort of being mediocre to being close to sold out, just for the fact that Hulk Hogan hadn't been in Japan for years and years, and even though he was just coming out there to sort of give a speech, and on one night he sort of did the deal for the signing of Kenta. It sort of made the whole thing special. Japanese crowds have always been a real big fan of Hulk Hogan for years and years, and sort of wanted to be there to sort of say they saw Hogan on more than likely his last trip over, even though he wasn't wrestling. But the whole thing that doesn't make sense to me is that for the last, I don't know, maybe even close to a year now, Rey Mysterio has been trying to get out of his deal in WWE. It's come close to the time where, his deal was going to be set to expire, and people thought that he would be making the trip to go work for Conan and AAA, maybe even work on the new Lucha Underground show that's being, out there on the, I forgot the name of the network, and I honestly forgot that the show was even going to be on tonight. I just said that tonight was Wednesday, and I would be driving home, and maybe this will be the night that I actually remember that Impact is on. For the first time I remembered Impact. Nobody did any tweets that I saw about it helping me out, but I'll figure it out. But Rey Mysterio, basically, his contract was set to expire, and WWE, set one of the terms in there to use, basically being that, if he is injured, they're going to be able to roll over his contract for the amount of time that he was injured. And they're saying that there was a 6-month time when Rey Mysterio wasn't a part of the WWE roster, and they were going to roll that 6 months over. And basically, this is something that WWE can do over and over and over again if they feel that they want to keep Rey Mysterio basically held captive in the WWE. Rey Mysterio sells a lot of t-shirts, he sells a lot of figures, he sells a lot of masks, even though he's not around. And basically with the fail of Sin Cara and the guy that's in NXT, I can't remember what his name is, the guy who chants Lucha being, a little bit farther away from debuting in WWE. Rey Mysterio's contract is an easy one to keep around, more than likely making up for it with merch in the long run. What my deal is that Rey Mysterio is trying basically to get out of his deal by basically maybe pissing off Vince McMahon, and maybe even getting to the point where they just release him because they're tired of paying him, and he's not, doing the things that he needs to be done. I'm not 100% sure if it happened or not, but I think it would have been a bigger story. But I do remember a time at WrestleMania 30 that there was a rumor that Rey Mysterio no-showed his VIP access deal, that he was replaced. But that's way in the back of my mind. If that even happened, I'm not sure. But don't quote me as that, because now I'm starting to think maybe that didn't even happen. Maybe just somebody told me it was going to happen. But it is in the memory bank for some reason. Don't want to be trashing Mysterio. He's one of the nicest wrestlers that I've ever met. I've had the honor of meeting him twice, both times at SummerSlam 2011 and at 2012. But he's nowhere near my favorite wrestler. I just wanted to sort of be able to have the VIP experience at SummerSlam. Sometimes it's easy just to, get in the door easier with the VIP ticket than wait in the general admission line. One time I got his book signed. Another time I got the Flash figure, Elite, from Ringside Exclusives. That was an exclusive for them. But, the part that's a mystery to me is basically that Rey Mysterio is trying to get out of this deal with WWE and maybe go work down in Mexico and make some money on the end of his career. Being able to work, and WWE is saying he's injured and he can't go. The funny thing is that if they would have sent him on these European tour and he was able to wrestle, it's knocking dates off of those contracts. And as long as he can make sure that he doesn't get hurt in these matches, WWE's not going to be able to say that at the end of his contract they're going to roll it over, because he would have worked the dates needed to be worked on that contract, and he basically would make himself a free agent. There's a joke out there on the Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer podcast where somebody wrote in and did the mailbag, and basically Dave was saying that it is true that if Rey Mysterio did fail another wellness test, basically getting a drug failure, he would be released, because that is what basically WWE told the Senate that they were going to do if people failed 3 of their drug tests, and they weren't going to be letting these guys work like that, saying that would be a way that he can get done. That Dave Meltzer was very cautiously saying this is not what he should do. It's just what would happen if he did fail. He didn't want the hammer to come down and basically him to be to blame for what would happen. So there's a few ways out, but it doesn't make sense to me for Rey Mysterio not to go on this tour, because it basically would set the precedence that he is not injured, and basically the date should be taking off of his deal, and it should become closing to expire. And if he wants to go work for AAA, if he wants to go work for Conan and Lucha Underground, he should be free to do it, because this guy wants to wrestle and he wants to make money, and WWE's not letting him do it. He's getting a royalty check, for his what he's done in the past with DVD sales and things like that, and he's also getting royalty checks for T-shirts and masks, but I think he just wants to wrestle. He's been a wrestler his whole career. He loves to wrestle, and that's just what he wants to do.